Yo, growing a business is kind of tricky right now. Supply chains are squeezed, tariffs and trade policies are dynamic, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. You need clarity to come out on top. Without it, you risk falling behind. If only you could hop in the DeLorean and see the future, right? Thankfully, there's NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite has real-time forecasting to help you move ahead with confidence. This is your AI-powered business management suite and the #1 cloud ERP. Trusted by over 42,000 businesses, NetSuite brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. And with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. You spent months building towards launch day, but when the clock hits 0, your site crashes. Bots swarm, and loyal fans rage on Reddit. That's not good. Fanfare was built to stop that. Fanfare is the drop platform made for high-pressure moments, stampede-proof infrastructure, verified waitlists, and bot filters that actually work. Instead of refunds and rage, you get retention and revenue. And that sounds great to me. Your next launch shouldn't be a gamble. Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook and learn how to bulletproof your drop at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, that's fanfare.io/playbook.
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later.
And now your host. He needs to sleep with 2 soft pillows under his head in order to get to sleep at night.
Pat Flynn.
So I was thinking about this the other day. The idea that success as an entrepreneur or becoming successful with entrepreneurship is largely a game of energy management. And this is interesting because I was thinking about the times that I've talked about energy management and productivity here on the show. And I had once brought up this idea of the 20-mile march. This is from a book called Great by Choice. And in that book, Jim Collins, the author, talks about this idea of, just going 20 miles every single day. And you'll eventually get to the point on the other side of the, your trek. If you just go 20 miles a day, whether it's a good day or a bad day of weather, you just go 20 miles. And if you feel like you can go more, you don't, because you just want to continue to manage that energy and have that sort of habitual rhythm or cadence every single day versus the person who, goes super long and hard on the days that are good weather, but then, some days are bad and they stay back, but they lose energy because they went like 60 miles in one day and then they have to catch up. So that's important, right? The idea of just consistency. And I think on that level, that analogy or that story makes sense. But then I started thinking a little bit more about energy management because yesterday, I have to tell you, I just did not have the energy to do what I need to do as a creator. And it's one thing to just walk, because walking or marching 20 miles a day is not necessarily something that requires a lot of creative energy. But in the world of entrepreneurship, especially as a creator, a blogger, a podcaster, a YouTuber, somebody who needs to write, is on social media, needs to interact and engage with an audience, there are just some days where we just don't have the energy. And if you were to, quote unquote, plow through or keep going anyway, many times that would actually, the quality of what you're creating would suffer a bit, right? And I almost recorded podcast episodes yesterday, even though I didn't want to. Now, if you're just starting out, yes, march on, right? But eventually you get to the point, and you might be here already and you just don't even know it, to a point where you can have a little bit of freedom with when you are creative. There are a lot of levels of energy management when it comes to an entrepreneur, right? There are different times of the day. For example, maybe you are more productive in the morning before the kids get up, or maybe you are more productive in the evening after everybody's asleep, or maybe right after lunch because you power through this incredible milkshake and then boom, you just have energy for 2 hours, and that's the time you maximize your creative efforts. It's going to be different for everybody. I remember telling people, do your work early in the morning before everybody else. And that's when I got my book done. That's when I have created a lot of courses. But my energy levels are different than yours. So I can't give you the prescription for what will work for you. You need to experiment and figure it out. But as opposed to just plowing through, even though you don't want to, you might have the opportunity to be able to manage your energy levels in a way where you can make a choice on certain days not to do things because you know that you just aren't in your best mindset at that time. There might be something going on in your life. There might be just maybe you partied hard the night before. And when it comes to the creative work that you do, I think it's important to be at your best creative self when you are creating. And this is why that understanding when you are the most creative is very, very important. Now, this is a lot easier said than done, right? It's so easy just to tell you like, hey, when you don't want to do something, don't do it. But of course, we want to stay consistent. We want to stay on that schedule. So how do we manage this? And I think the number one strategy, in fact, I know the number one strategy that I've used to manage my energy levels with creation is batch processing. It's this idea of that when I am in a high creative, high performance mode during the day or during the week, I will go hard and create a lot, right? So I might record 4 to 5 podcast episodes in a day if I'm feeling it. And to give myself a block of time to complete something, but also have the opportunity to keep going if I need to, or not if I need to, if I feel like it, right? And, I might have a 2-hour block to record at least, 2 podcast episodes during that time. But if I'm feeling it, I might record another one or even one more after that because I want that momentum to keep going, right? You feel like you're in the zone. It's that zone of genius. It's that, what do they call it? The flow. And when you're in the flow, you want to try to take advantage of that as much as possible. To get into the flow state, I think understanding your energy levels, understanding what you put into your body actually matters quite a bit in terms of good amounts of water, great nutrition, not like nasty, gross food that's going to take your creative juices away from your brain and put them into your digestive system. Like those kinds of things actually do matter. I'm not a doctor and I'm not telling you or prescribing anything. I'm just telling you what I have learned from my own experience. But when it comes to batch processing, I try to find those pockets of time where I have the best chance to get into flow state. And when I am in the flow state or I notice I'm in the flow state, I keep flowing. Keep going to keep flowing, or keep flowing when you're going. Go flow. There's a phrase in there somewhere that might make this easier, although now you might not forget it because I'm fumbling with my words. So mission accomplished anyway. But take today, for example. Now, I had mentioned yesterday I was just not in a good state. And I don't know why. It could have been perhaps because the night before I decided to have a beer, right? Maybe that had something to do with it, and I'm sure it had. 2 days prior to that, I went on a full day fishing trip, so I was definitely out of, I was just tired. So when it came to my recording day, Tuesday, I wasn't feeling it. But today, Wednesday, I'm going ham. I'm going crazy. This is the 4th podcast episode I've recorded today. And it's because I found myself in that flow state. It took an extra day to get there. And I made sure the night before that I didn't eat anything crazy or eat late at night, that I drank a lot of water in the morning, and again, stacked things in my favor. And when I do that, I often find myself getting into that flow state where I can then go ham and go crazy. And what that does is 2 things. Number 1, I'm essentially depositing into my content bank, right? I'm getting ahead on my content schedule so that when those times come where I am just not in that creative mode or in that creative state, or definitely far from flow state, I can be okay with saying, you know what, I can't do it today. Maybe I'll get to it tomorrow if there's room, like there is today for me. Or being okay with the fact that, I didn't get to it this week, so I'm going to make up for it the week after. Now, of course, it's not going to work if you keep making those sorts of excuses. And, I talked about excuses last week. I think it's one thing to make an excuse because you don't want to do something, but it's another one to know that you are just not in the right state of mind to do the thing. And therefore, hopefully you get juiced enough to come back the next time and kind of, not just make up for the one that you missed, but even get ahead on that. And again, getting ahead on it, batch processing is really what's making it work for me. Because I have not. This might sound like a dream to some of you, and it was for me, but I'm here now, and I want to share it with you because this is something to aim for. I'm at that point now where I don't feel pressured to make content. I'm just creating in a flow state. This is part of also the reason why we hired out the marketing on SPI. We invited a person named Mandy to come on board. She's a marketing director now, which takes a lot of those tough decisions away from me now that definitely went into my creative tanks and siphoned a lot of that. She is now handling a lot of that, and I trust her. We trust her to do so on the team. such that I can be in this creative state like I'm in right now as much as possible. Because this is when I am not just most productive, but this is when I'm most happy, right? And I think it's important to do work or get to the point eventually, or work toward the point by which you can do the work that you love to do. And then you find other people who are loving the work that perhaps you don't love to do, but they love to do it. And then that team kind of gets formed, right? And that's the ideal state that we want to be in. But again, this energy management is really key. So on the body level, understanding your own body in terms of when you are most energized, when you are most creative, and when you're not. It might even get to the point where you might not even know that, and you'll need to keep track of it. Keep track of the things you eat, keep track of what you did the night before, and how that plays a role in your creative efforts the next day or the next week or the next month even, right? And then from a production standpoint, offering yourself the opportunity to pass when you are in those sort of lower production levels, because you definitely went in when you had high production levels. Now, there's a line, of course. You could feel like you're in the flow state and go 10 hours straight and then completely burn yourself out. And I think that's what Jim Collins, again, from Great by Choice, that book, was talking about, that we don't want to do. So this is a sort of a compromise. It's not 20 miles every day no matter what. It's 20 miles every day, maybe a day that you just feel ill or don't want to do it. Okay, take a break that day. It's okay to take a break. But then you come back and you go maybe not 40 miles the next day or 80 miles the next day, but you go 25 or 30. And then you do that for a couple days, then you're back to where you were, and then you keep doing 30, and you come back, and then maybe there's a day where you just want to take a break and you're back at 0, and it kind of evens out over time. But as far as the creative work that we do, right, we're not just walking or marching, which is a mindless thing, although that would be an amazing opportunity, I would imagine, like any hiker or any person who's doing the Pacific Trail or doing, those kinds of marches. There's a lot of benefit to it, and I'm not saying that that's like a mindless thing. It's mindless to step one after another, but I'm sure there's a lot of things going on in your mind and a lot of meditative sort of qualities to that, which are beneficial. But as far as creative work, as far as podcasting, blogging, writing, recording video, coming up with stories, problem solving, customer service, even sometimes, engagement, planning, initiatives, these things are the things that are going to require the most creative effort from you, and are going to require you to be at your highest energy levels. So pay attention to your energy levels, because I think that can do you some huge favors. And even if it's a little bit more energy for those moments when you need to be creative, those things stack up over time and exponentially can help you out in the future. So energy. There we go. So again, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode, which I'm just going to give you a little bit of a preview. It's one like I've never done before. It is probably one of the most interesting conversations I've ever had with somebody who, I think when you see it on Wednesday next week, you're going to be kind of going, what happened here? It's a really interesting story, and I hope you listen. So again, check it out when it comes out. Till then, peace out. Thanks so much. And as always, Team Flynn for the win. Cheers. Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at smartpassiveincome.com. I'm your host, Pat Flynn. Our senior producer is Sarah Jane Hess. Our series producer is David Grabowski. And our executive producer is Matt Gartland. Sound editing by Duncan Brown. The Smart Passive Income Podcast is a production of SPI Media. We'll catch you in the next session. Have you dreamt about being your own boss, but still haven't made the first steps to making that dream a reality? Well, I get that. Starting a business can feel super overwhelming with legal forms, paperwork, finances. It's a lot. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Taylor Brands. Taylor is a complete business builder designed to make launching your business simple and stress-free. You can register your LLC in just minutes, keeping your personal assets and the business assets separate from day one. From there, you get access to everything you need to get off the ground. Legal documents, licenses and permits, invoicing and bookkeeping tools, and even a 100-day business coaching program, all designed to help you hit the ground running. You'll also get a free, personalized business plan, branding tools, and so much more. And of course, listeners of this show get an exclusive 35% discount to get started. All you have to do is head to taylorbrands.com/SPI. That's TAILORBRANDS.com/SPI. Stop dreaming, start building with Taylor Brands. I get it. You want to grow your business, but selling at scale feels overwhelming. You're drowning in complicated funnels, creating different lead magnets, or constantly posting on social media. And that gets exhausting fast, especially when you're trying to sell to hundreds or thousands of people. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? A score app quiz or assessment asks your audience key questions and gives them instant personalized results based on their answers. Your audience gets to know where they are now and shows them the steps they need to hit their goals. You can set up a quiz in minutes using Score App's templates and have a powerful lead magnet that'll do the selling for you. The best part is your audience actually wants to take this quiz, and you build huge amounts of trust before you even make a single offer. No hard sales, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. Just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI.